Hello, hello. Thank you guys for waiting. I have no idea how to use technology. Can you guys hear me? Volume? Hi. Okay. I have no idea how to see. Okay, we got one person watching. Great. That is one more person than I usually talk to all day. You know, live streaming can seem kind of intimidating when you're like a really small channel because I was just like, what am I gonna do? There's gonna be no people watching and I'm myself alone in my room all day. But then I realized that's what I do every day. So might as well record myself doing it. But thank you, one person who is watching. I'm Mayhem. I am girl. I'm very normal. A lot of people have asked me if I'm AI. I'm not AI and I do not use AI. I do not support AI. I am what AI was trained on. I was the I before A, if you know what I mean. So, I filmed a new video today. I'm really excited about it. Hello, W7E7. By the way, is there anything you would like me to call you, or shall I call you W7E7 like a Star Wars robot every time? Because that I'm cool with that, but you know, they had nicknames too. Like, I feel like that would be a good nickname for whatever your username is. So do you have plans to create more music videos? Boy, do I have plans. Do I have the budget entirely? But the plans go on forever and ever and always. If I had budget, it is aesthetically pleasant. The Are you referring to username? Because I can see how like there's some words that look good on paper, but then are kind of awkward when you say it out loud, you know? Like sometimes when I'm writing poetry, I'm like, am I writing this to be read silently or to be read out loud? Because those are very different poems to write, you know? Like when you're writing it down, you can rhyme again, like the word again with the word rain, and it looks really pleasant. But then you try to say it and you're like, ooh, I see. Hello again, Fret 214, hamburger. It's another variant of one of the only things I eat. We have chicken tenders. I like the chicken and do I like them and will they? There are two different questions for almost every food. I have had chicken tenders, but I am not supposed to eat the bread around them. I'm on a meat-only diet for medical reasons. Yeah. But yes, other examples of words that, are spelled and sound very differently. Like again, looks like it should rhyme with rain, but it doesn't. And the word pony and bologna, which is spelled Bologna, like looks like it should be pronounced Bologna. Like when you look, does Bologna have rhyming with pony? But then they do rhyme and they put it in a commercial. To the lady up front with the pony. I don't know if you've seen it from another era. I have never seen Stranger Things, but I tell you Oscar Mayer commercials from the 1950s. When you talked about your food intolerances, let me go on and on and on about what the things I eat. Okay, so I thought that over the past century you must have certainly experienced your fair share of pathemathos, insight beyond theoretical learning in that regard. You know, I speak in Latin, but I haven't gotten up to that level of whatever pathemathos means. So if you could explain it to those of us who speak English, that would be appreciated. I cannot have food dye, gluten, dairy, grains, rice, oats, caffeine, chocolate, coffee, decaf coffee, pork, gelatin, Maybe soy. Did I say alcohol already? There's probably more. Pathomythos is an ancient Greek concept meaning learning through suffering or knowledge gained from experience. Boy, do I have a lot of that. Ha ha ha. That's why I'm so smart. Ha ha. Right? Actually, I do, I have a theory that a lot of people who are like great philosophers have like tummy aches because well, for one, you have to deal with pain. There is that you end up spending more time in your head because your body is just not a fun place to be. Like your body just is in it. So you just kind of think a lot because you're kind of trying to dissociate away from your physical form and astral project the realm of Plato's realm of forms instead. Van says same with I assume you said glue, but I'm gonna assume you mean gluten. And rice triggers my inflammation. Although you could have meant glue or a lot of people's inflammation if they drank it. Either that or it's like some secret elixir that will cure everybody and the government's trying to hide it from us. Yeah. Yeah, probably a lot of the things that I can't eat are things that most people should not eat. I'm just a very sensitive person. Sorry, gluten. You never need to apologize for saying something funny. It's much funnier to say you're allergic to glue. I mean, I'm allergic to concrete, like if I eat it. Sorry. But actually, did you know that uh, petroleum-based food dyes um, are made with basically stuff that's in tar? Like when you're paving roads, like my mom's also allergic to it, and when they're on the road, she has an allergic reaction to the air because it has the same stuff that is in like red 40. So when you eat that, you're like eating tar. I was talking the last live stream. I made this lipstick from scratch with iron oxides because most lipsticks they have red 40 in it, which is a petroleum based. But then iron oxides are like a mineral based dye. So it's different. It's structurally different. And so I'm not allergic to those. So and I know I've taken medications that have iron oxides in them. I just was like, I want red lipstick because like I'm not allowed to have red lipstick or I will die. So I was like, I'm gonna make my own red lipstick. So I went on Amazon and I found some iron oxide pigments that's used for like making tiles. And I just mixed it in with my crappy Burt's Bees organic lipstick. And now I have actual red lipstick and I love it and I wear it all the time. Messy because it's like I understand why they do not commercially package this for sale because it just gets on everything and it stains everything in a way that no lipsticks don't. Like it's very inconvenient to wear, but very pretty. It matches my nails. DIY. Please tell us more about the rituals you mentioned during the previous live stream. I believe you were mentioning that I am really excited to hit a new milestone on YouTube. At 500 subscribers and 3,000 watch hours, you unlock the ability to make membership videos, as well as some other things like getting super chats and selling stuff. And I'm videos for the cult. And basically, I just want it to be more of an artistic expression place for me. Um, and not necessarily like a sit down, give you this information, maybe more spiritual truths. One of the big problems that I have with videos is that I want to appeal to as wide of an audience as possible. And sometimes there's concepts that are really complex. And in order to understand those, you kind of need to understand the level down and the level down, the level down, the level down, the level down, the level down. And so I might as well just like I had a video about this. It's I'm not I think it's called Confused. Watch this. It definitely has the word confused in the title, and it has like the Hitchhiker's Guide to Mayhem on it. It's the first one in my playlist called The Hitchhiker's Guide to Mayhem. It's about this phenomenon of if I want to explain what's up here, I have to explain what's up here and then up here and then up here and then I have to do it in order that is the most confusing part of what I do, is trying to figure out how to explain everything about everything to everyone in 5 minutes. And I feel like people in the inner circle of the cult might be more kind of well educated, and it wouldn't just be the general public, it would be people who they're ready for this stuff up here, and you don't need to hold their hand through all this stuff at the bottom levels. And that would be a way for me to immediately start sharing stuff that most people are just not ready to hear, or they're not going to understand it, or they get bored and click away because they don't know what's going on. But if control who it goes to and give it to people who are ready for the advanced level when I'm still teaching like the 101 course on my main channel, that would be a really cool way to do it. So I'm really excited about that. And then to be able to throw in some more, I don't know, just fun visuals that are a little too weird for the regular side of the channel. Yeah, that's kind of my plan. Thanks for asking. Fret says, "Do you ever study math? Also, do you ever practice?" I have a let me see if I can get it. It's over here. It's kind of buried. I have a sword. I'm looking for my sword. I'm really determined to get this sword, guys. But it's like in the corner with all my stuff, and I don't know which box it's in. But I want it. Oh, there! I got it. Whoa. Okay. Sword requested. Sword delivered. This is a sword that I've had since I was very, very small. I used to be obsessed with Peter Pan, the movie, and a lot of pretending to be Peter Pan and Captain Hook with this sword. But it's very fun. I have actually taken actual sword fighting lessons before, but you know what? My cardio is so bad that I need to work on my cardio before I can just try to do. I've taken a lot of martial arts classes, and what I've learned from all those classes is that I need to work on my cardio for about 2 years before I go back to those classes, because I wasn't just like trying to survive. Um, Also, would you? But yes, I have taken her to do more of it in the future, and to like how to use lots of different weapons. I've practiced with a rope dart before. I've never like set it on fire, but the goal is like when you get really good at. And there is one of the coolest slow artists is called like rope dart artist is called Slow Mayhem. So maybe I'll have to collab with her, and we'll have do 2 rope dart mayhems. Also, would you ever pet a cat? I have 3 cats right now. Usually think of well, I have 2 regular cats and a feral cat that we went to the shelter, and we were like, give us a remote and we'll try to love it back to sanity. But we've been trying it for years, and it's still feral. But I have a cat. I love him, and try to bring a cat on the next live stream. But it was laborious trying to go find my sword. I'm not going to try find a cat right now, unless the chat. Don't stop talking to me just so I'll get a cat. I'll get it next time, I promise. I am a cat right now. This is just be happy. Cool, thank you. You gotta learn your guards and cuts. Yes, I'm like when I took the sword fighting class, I was really just trying to learn to breathe. Like I need to learn to like breathe. It's like a prerequisite skill. Like I was talking about, like the stuff in the cult. Sword fighting is up here, and I have to learn how to like breathe and walk. You can get cool swords pretty cheap if you don't need them sharp. Yeah, well, I am really bad at sword fighting, so I'd prefer them to not be sharp so I don't die right now. If you can do 2 miles in 60 minutes on the treadmill, they would give you a passing score in the army. I climbed a mountain in an hour last weekend. I don't know how miles that was though, but it was up, like uphill in the snow. I don't know if that's impressive or not. Fret, are you a fencer? Oh, we're getting chat on chat discourse. Fun. I got a treadmill. Fret says I got a treadmill for only like 700 from Redacted Sporting Goods. All used treadmills are garbage when I checked all the places for those. I mean, I don't like treadmills that much, although I do like looking at the numbers on them. But I just like to walk up a mountain and be in nature. And I'm lucky I have mountains around where I live, so I can do that. Brett says he's trying to study the blade. An honorable quest. Do you ever poke your cats in the nose and I say lots of things to my cats. I'm sure I've done that at some point. Um, I I usually just like tell them about my stuff. Cats are made of magic. I wholeheartedly agree. I think cats also make magic, so it's kind of like an infinite loop of kitty. Here in the YouTube space, when considering your cult project, you're really aware that some of the projections people create can foster a sense of virtual familiarity with your persona. Did this feel strange for you? I mean, kind of the is to the parasocial bond is kind of the point. That's kind of like what I feed off of, you know? Like that's I don't know. It isn't weird. I mean it's not that it's not weird. It's just that that's kind of what I'm going for. I think I'm so used to having parasocial one-sided relationships with people that the idea of being receiving end of them seems really normal to me because am I get obsessed with people who like don't know exist or whatever. And it I think it can add something to people's lives, especially if you represent something to them archetypally. I think that's really what I try to be is I try to embody not just one, but maybe a variety of archetypes and to kind of be some people's anima for lack of a I mean, that's a pretty good word. I don't know why I was saying lack of a better word. That's a great word. Anima is what for everyone but W77 who already knows what this is. For those who are not W77, anima was a term that Carl Jung, a Swiss psychoanalyst who was one of the founders of psychoanalysis and psychology, he termed coined the term anima and animus, which are the masculine and feminine versions of. He thought that men have a feminine part of their soul that they repress, which is their anima, and women have a masculine that they repress, which is called the animus. And then they see this in other people or in dreams. So if I can represent like the idea of moving towards your higher self or some sort of wisdom or guidance and people can project that onto me, I think it's important for people to have a place to project that, and I try to be a safe space for people to do that, because there's plenty of worse places to go, that's for sure. I filmed a video today. I'm really excited about it. I think the script was really good. I always like blank on what my videos were as soon as I film them because I made a video about the different parts of memory. It was the Pi Day one. I'm gonna try to push that. I made it this year, so I'm gonna try to put video again. It was about memory, and because I memorized a whole bunch of digital pi for Pi Day. And there's different parts of your memory. There's long-term memory, and then there's like your working memory. And there's probably other parts, but I don't remember. And I try to keep my working memory pretty clean, is what I like to call it. so that I don't have to admit I have short-term memory loss. I don't know. It's one or the other. It's either a disorder or like a superpower. But as soon as I don't need to remember something, I forget it. But I'm very good at remembering things that I need to remember, memorizing stuff. During this live stream, someone mentioned the fourth way. Think you might find it interesting to look into. It was described as the idea that humans are like sleeping and that this life is like a dream, basically. Is that oh, someone asked me about math earlier. Was that you, Fred, too? Sorry if I like I mean, I've spoken a bit how I think that kind of there's something that I call God that is like existence, so probably lines up pretty good. Fred says learning new math can be hard to remember sometimes. I'm debating whether I like launch a whole like video level explanation. I guess I will have nothing better to do. I think it's Elon Musk calls it branch learning, but it's an idea of how to learn things and remember stuff, which is basically you have to start at the most basic stuff. You never forget something that you truly understand. There's a big difference between understanding something and memorizing it because like you will never forget what a cat is because you understand what a cat is, and it's like you'd have to have some serious brain damage to forget what a cat is. And the idea is ideally learning new things would be like you understand them to that degree. And in order to do that, you have to understand them functionally and like what they do and what they're for. And you have to understand them structurally. So the things that make them up. Not taking any advice from Elon Musk. Well, I mean, you don't have to like someone as a person to like admit that they're good at something, you know. Like he built a rocket, taught himself rocket science after he dropped out of college. So you can think he's a terrible, like morally evil person. I'm not saying that I do, but you can. Fred says, I don't think Elon Musk is good at anything. I think he's a scammer. Well, maybe I'm a scammer too. Have you ever thought about Fred? W7E7 says, you made a video about memory. Perhaps someday you can make a video about platonic anamnesis. W7E7, do I have to ask you to define every single term? Or can you just start like automatically defining terms that you know what the terms are? Like, you know, if not, you know, I have opinions about things that I know what they are. I just don't, I'm more of a, if you've seen my videos, I think there's like two types of intelligence. There's curiosity and creativity. W7E7, I feel like you're a curious type where you're very good at like seeking out information in the world. I'm not really good at that. That's really like a struggle for me. But I'm very good at having like generating new ideas with it and like doing stuff with it and having opinions about it. But I'm really bad at this stuff. So if you can just be like, okay, I'm this like realize that you're the and I'm the creative kind of smart. And if you can just like explain things to me, then I will have opinions about them. But if you have if you feel some sort of like power trip from being that people need to ask you to explain it, then like I'm fine. I'll ask you if you want. Need a definition every time. I suspect a lot of other people did the work. I'm not saying other people didn't do it successful. Like it's kind of the definition of a leader is someone who can get other people to do the work. I mean, you could say all leaders are scammers because they're making other people work for them, but that's like it's if you're like that CEO, he just had someone working for him. Like he just had lots of people working for him. He didn't do it all. Like yeah, that's kind of the job title. W7E7 says Platonic anamnesis is the theory that the soul prior to incarnation possesses innate knowledge of universal truths, and learning is a process of recollecting this forgotten knowledge. Yeah, I mean, I think existence is a form of forgetting everything that is not us, which is how, like, an ego is the boundary around you. And in order to be, must also not be things as well. Like, you are the fact that you are not other things. You get to be an individual because you are not all the others. And if on some deeper spiritual truth, the truth is that we are all everyone, then to be constantly aware of that truth, you need to disintegrate the individual. And there's some value that if you're like too caught up in who you are, to the fact that you're not like enjoying your life or willing to take any because you're too stuck up yourself. But there's also value in having the individual experience and experiencing things from your point of view and having that suspension of disbelief and taking it all seriously, even though on some level of reality it might be an illusion. So I think that, yeah, it's kind of like a little illusion that we get to play pretend and take part in. Brett says it's possible for people to sometimes become successful without being a good leader. There's a difference between a good person and a good leader. Like I would say Steve Jobs, I haven't read that much about him, but like unkind, but he did a good job with Apple. I like my Mac. I like my iPod Shuffle. So I think a good leader and a good person can sometimes people who are really bad people can be good leaders, like cult leaders. Personally, I like Rocket Lab way better than SpaceX. I hope SpaceX gets kicked out of our space program and they put Rocket Lab in. I haven't heard of Rocket Lab. Is that like, I know Bridget Mentor has a rocket company now, like the old Disney pop star. She quit being a Disney pop star. Now she has a rocket company or something. Is that hers? I don't know. Haven't heard of Rocket Lab. Rocket Lab is almost ready to launch their new Neutron rocket and be in competition with SpaceX. Right now, Rocket Lab is the leader of small launch with their Electron rocket. TBH, I'm not really up to date with the rocket sphere. I just kind of like Tesla's because they look like a kitty, kind of. They have like two models, and like one of them, they have four models, but they have like two cheap ones and they have two expensive ones. And the cheap ones, like the headlights, are like prey eyes, you know? They're like in the back. Like Teslas are designed like they're an animal. And the expensive, like a predatory animal, because predatory animals are evolved to have like humans, you know? Our eyes are in the front because we are looking at the prey. And prey evolved to have their eyes on like the side of their head. So that's like deer and like cows and stuff. And they have their eyes on the side of their head, so they have like a huge peripheral vision that's a little blurrier so that they can see the predators are. So when we see something, cars, like the headlights are, they look like eyes. Cars' headlights look like eyes to humans. And I think they're partly designed to look that way. But the less expensive model Tesla are designed so that the headlights look like prey animals, predator animals. And I want a predator Tesla. It's like a whole scam meme to think that. I mean, the 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 Tesla Model S Plaid uh, goes 0 to 60 fast Porsche. Don't get by Tesla. Well, you're gonna get scammed by somebody, so. No power trip, just unnecessary pedantry. You talking about me? What is pedant? Is it being pedantic? I've heard that. Does that mean like being cut up with details? correction fact. I don't know what you're correcting. Asterisk owner. I don't know which word you're trying to replace. W77 says yes. I already forgot what I said, so I don't know what you're agreeing with. I mean, I know I'm always right, but I don't know which right thing you said. Fret 214 says was correcting this. Okay. Hello, 4 people in the live. It's like a party. Fret says maybe it's censoring my comment. If YouTube's doing that, it's not me. But I don't know how to do it about it. Sorry about that. I don't have mods because I'm too lame right now. I'm not lame. That's not. People don't know exist yet. Anyway, she's a sword. Yay, swords. We all like swords. To unite over a shared love of swords. I'm really just live streaming because I think my makeup looks good. Like, if you guys want to know when my live stream schedule is going to be, it's just like whenever I did my makeup and I think it looks good, I'm going to go on live stream, even if I don't want to. To my comment, Lowell, I was saying Elon Musk's online posting is a concern and probably a warning sign to avoid the brand. I'm impressed that you appear to not think my online posting is a concern. Did you catch? You were in the last live stream. I was talking. You remember the teeth dialogue? You had to be there if you didn't see it, but I am Mayhem and I'm not on any federal watch list. You have posted anything supporting the ideas of those bad WW2 guys. Well, do you practice piano regularly? I do. Well, it depends how hard I Sigma grind set that day. I'm trying to Sigma grind set at. You know, I'm really trying to lock in on my. I will tell you, when I was practicing to learn Across the Stars from Star Wars, that song is so hard, and I like didn't know. Like, I used to take piano lessons when I was like age 6 to age 11, but I haven't taken any lessons since then. So I like kind of didn't know how to play piano. Like I forgot how to read notes. I had 2 months to learn the song. And that is one of the hardest songs that you can play. Like nobody had covered it because it was so hard. The original person who wrote the arrangement was so hard that nobody had covered it. People had tried and failed miserably. And I was like, well, I like kind of don't know how to play the piano even right now, but I'm going to do this deadline because the place I wanted to film it at was closing in 2 months. So I had a 2-month deadline, which is actually not a lot to learn like how to play the piano again at a much higher level than I've ever played it ever before. So I spent the first 2 days just teaching myself how to read notes. And then for the rest of the 2 months, I spent all day, every day practicing the piano. And like when I got stressed, I would just go pace up and down the street and listen to Following in Reverse Girl by Falling in Reverse got me through those 2 months. I practiced it 2,000 times. I kept track. I could keep myself sane. I would be like, okay, yeah, I practiced that song 2,000 times. Took me 2 months. It was insane. Yeah, there's 2 songs that I practice I don't always practice the piano, but when I do, I practice Across the Stars and Interstellar. So I can kind of play those 2 now, with about 100 mistakes. Anytime you like, you can get a rendition of Across the Stars or Interstellar with 100 mistakes. Brett says, I wonder what other brands of cars are actually good slash better than what people think Teslas are. There's probably other brands even better than what people think Tesla is. I mean, BMW seems kind of cool. I mean, I could go for a BMW. Those cute one, like a white one. I want like a sparkly white, like a pearl white, like Ludovico Einaudi. I have no way. You gotta define your terms, guys. Like if you ask you if it makes you feel better, but like you gotta. Brett says, I saw when watching drum practice videos recently, the guy mentioned how you want to practice little stuff so many times that you can do it while not thinking about it and while having a conversation. Guys, so the video that I uploaded to go live on Tuesday, I finished editing it yesterday. It's going to go live on Tuesday. It's about that. Like at the end, I quote that Bruce Lee quote. I do not fear the man who's practiced 1,000 kicks one time each. I fear the man who's practiced one kick at times. I talk about a zone of optimal challenge in that video. It's a good video. You guys will see it on Tuesday, 5 p.m. EST. But yeah, you need to. Yeah. I mean, there's so many things that I want to practice and get good at. Like, I'm learning Japanese right now. That's kind of what I'm practicing at the moment. Because my parents are like, you can go to Japan if you become Japanese. I was just kind of just like, in Cinderella, when the stepmother is like, you can go to the ball if, and just gives her a long list of stuff, and then Cinderella goes and does it. I love Cinderella. But yeah, I'm learning Japanese right now. So I'm kind of, my main goal is YouTube. And then like my fun goal is learning Japanese. So that kind of takes up all my time right now. So I haven't really been grinding on the piano very much. It made me think about practice math so much you may be doing it while making decisions when thinking about it. Or conversation. Ludovico Einaudi is a popular Italian pianist. You've probably heard his stuff. If you like piano, it's very good. Honestly, like, I don't listen to a lot of new music very often. I find like 50 songs that I like and just like listen to my music is just the Twilight soundtracks over and over. And then I'll find like one song that I like. I love songs I can just play over. My favorite piano song right now is, I don't even know if it's on the piano. At least some classical music. It's called Fracture. And I don't think, but I found it on Spotify and I just listened to that. That's like I listened to that and the Slay the Princess original game sound. Fun. W7 Eason says, wow, I wish you good luck in your YouTube career. Thank you so much. And thank you for your support. Yeah, I've been getting a lot of subscribers lately because I'm trying to post more. I try to put there's a lot of things I'm trying to do. So I try to do a video essay every week on Tuesdays. I just went on a podcast recently, and that'll be out in like a couple weeks or so. I want to go on more podcasts. I want to go on try to go on one podcast a month. That's my goal. I want to start my own podcast soon. Just kind of like have conversations with interesting people. And once I hit the like monetization thing, I want to like making virtual videos for the cult. And I'm trying to post at least one short every day. I take a little clip from one of my video essays that in the past, and I try to herd people, and that's a lot of stuff. And live streams, which I'm live streaming right now. So those are kind of the types of videos I'm trying to make. Because I'm like, if I did all those, I could make like 500 videos a year. It's so a lot of videos. So, right now I get like 10 subscribers every time I post a video, pretty much, which is really cool. And I'm sure someday. Ludovici Einaudi du Tremonti is good. I'm sure it is. I like Moonlight Sonata a lot. That's a good piano song. I like River Flows in You by Yuruma. If I was to learn. Oh, I like the Meadow from the Twilight Zone. That's a really good piano song. Do I do art? I do paint sometimes, but I've kind of already covered my room in paintings, so let me go grab a painting I made actually. Be right back. Okay, I'm coming back. I got it. Terrible. Oh yeah, you can see it. Okay, so I like reproduction paintings because I'm not really good at making the composition from scratch. So that I saw it in an art museum on an exhibit. The original is called Moonlight Wolf by Frederick Remington and was made in like 1901. And so I just copied it. I just painted it as an acrylic painting. It's got like stars and it just really spoke to my soul. It reminded me of Twilight. And that hangs out in my bathroom. And I use like gold paint, like the stars in the eyes, so it like glints in the light. Yeah. This is my favorite painting that I've made. I really like it. Fret says neat. Thank you, Fret. W77 says, if I remember well, the stat likes to play Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, at least in the movie. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I'm reading the books. Have you read the books? Fret says it's a big painting. It probably tell. Yeah. And this was like I was making it in a factory, and I worked 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, and then I'd come home and work on the painting just because it was like me time. Like I probably should have been sleeping, but I just wanted to do something fun. Very cool, captivating painting. I know, I love it. I painted the front to be part of the painting. That's one of the like details that I really like about it. Try to get it in frame. Like the whole thing is just painting, which I felt like I was taking the artist said back 100 years ago that he wanted it to feel like you were like there, like the wolf was looking at you. Not just that you were looking at the wolf, but that the wolf was looking at you, and that it would like bring you into the painting. And it was very modern painting for 1901. And I just wanted to take that and run with it a little more. W77 says I've read some of them. Yeah, I'm only on the second one. I try to do too many things at once. You know, I was thinking like I was anxious before I live streamed because I was like, what if nobody comments? And then I'm like, say when like nobody's saying anything, if like nobody joins the live. And then I was like, well, I am a princess and I'm coming down to speak to the commoners. Say nothing if there are no commoners to speak to, then I will just wave. Yeah, that was my plan. You know, some people say I'm like a narcissist, but it's just like how to not have social anxiety. It's just like highly of yourself until you develop the audacity to do things like live stream to strangers in your room on camera wearing a cat headset. I'm fiddling with my gloves because the laces came untied and it's bothering me. Multitasking, says Teresa Mason. Says, I bet there are more places you can post links to your stream to get more viewers, like Reddit maybe. I mean, I'm just trying to get more comfortable with live streaming, honestly. Like, I'll probably stick to one a week, and I think eventually my channel will get, you know, more viewers. And most people have, I mean, big creators, they have the opposite problem where they apply to every single person's every single message because there's just too many. So I'm just kind of trying to enjoy this little quiet time with like my first fans. And you have the chance to, I will respond to every single one of your messages right now, and maybe in the future I won't be able to do that because there'll be too many. So I feel like it's, even if it's like kind of small, I mean it's chill, and I get to hang out with my first fans, who I'm so grateful for. The first 1,000 on YouTube is just so brutal. So even just figuring out how the software of live streaming works and getting comfortable with that is, half of the goal. Brett says, have you ever heard of anything St. Augustine wrote? Books by some ancient saint, but there is an artist called Saint Evangeline who has really music, and that's kind of what I was thinking. But no, I'm actually really bad at reading. I write a lot more than I read. Like I probably write a bigger volume of words than I read, honestly. I'm a yapper. Brett said, I thought it was a neat idea that in regards to the idea of good versus evil, that evil is really the good, and that there's a ranking of how some things are more good than other things. Now, I might have read like an excerpt, chapter, like book, textbook, because that does sound familiar. Or maybe I read it, watched a video or something, but. And that what is bad is to value less good things over more good things. Like liking money isn't bad, but valuing money over things like love is bad. That's a good point. That's a good point. I think everything's relative, and that's true. Brett says you could stream from spooky places like a cemetery. The problem is there's Wi-Fi there. And not good lighting. Brett says Yale has whole college courses, less lectures on YouTube under Open Yale. I've been using it a lot to absorb free college education. Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking today how glad I am that I dropped out of college, because I really like being able to choose whatever I'm interested in and educate myself on that and not have anyone telling me what I'm supposed to be learning because like, there's so many things that I want to learn and I just don't have time. Like I want to become perfect at piano and Japanese and put out 500 YouTube videos every year and read 100 books and like learn sword fighting and learn to cook really well and get enough sleep, which humans do that, right? I can do that. Yeah, sleep. Um, but yeah, there's so many things I want to do, and I just don't have enough time. And I'm glad that I don't have anyone telling me like, this is what you have to do with your time when, because I book it all out myself. So, but it's cool that there's open source education. Like I love books because that's how I educate myself. Brett says the website also lists the homework required reading. Hi, Jaina. Hi, May. I also don't read as much as just contemplating things over in my mind. I mean, you know what always gets me is like, I don't read a lot of philosophy, but you know who, like Plato, Aristotle, like the first people up with philosophy. They weren't reading philosophy. It was just it up, and that's kind of what I'm doing. If I encounter an idea that is like better than my ideas, then I'll trade my current idea for that one, like a hermit crab. But I have a very creative sort of intelligence and not curious type. So I'm really better at generating stuff, and it takes so much time to generate the stuff, and I prefer doing that I just don't have as much time to read as I would like. Van says, though my computer science degree is now on paperweight. I actually have a paperweight that has my college on it that I went to. Little paperweight. Yeah, my high school film, although it was film school that I went to, and I probably learned a couple things. Film class was probably more helpful. Ifo, I love that there's new people now. Socrates, the goat, didn't even write anything down. His ideas were good enough that other people preserved them. Exactly, I mean, that's why I make YouTube videos, is so I can reach the most number of people, and I try to break my ideas down into little clips. Like, I'm trying to make shorts and have my ideas in a 9-second package. The one I posted today was like, remember, being unapologetically awkward is, because I think about that a lot. Every time I'm like, oh, should I live stream? I'm going to be so awkward. And I'm like, I'm going to force people to sit and watch me be awkward. I'm not going to say sorry. I'm just going to do it to them, whether they like it or not. And if they don't like it, they can leave. And that most people already did, so that's. Jaina says, recent topic I'm chewing on is viewing our lives as brief snippets held within the greater flowing process of the universe. Yeah. A lot of my life decisions, I try to take in the perspective of, this is not my first life. It's my only life as May, you know. So there's a lot of things that I can't do, but I'll get to do them in other lives, like eat bread. I can't eat bread. I get sad about that sometimes, but then I remember of like all of the other lives where I can eat like everything on the McDonald's menu because I'm just like a different person reincarnated. Like I look forward, like I guess that's like death doesn't even scare me that much because I'm like I'm going to get reincarnated into someone who can eat cheeseburgers. Like that sounds so sick. But of this incarnation and this persona. So my YouTube channel is basically just trying to capture everything that is interesting about this particular incarnation and share it with other people so that they can at least expose to the ideas that I have from this perspective and take the things that they like the most from that perspective and weave it into their perspective and continue it on. Fret says gluten can be overrated. One time I had to make gluten-free muffins. Amazing. I don't know how they did it. The problem is I can't have like rice or oats or any grains at all. If it was just gluten, I'd be fine. Gluten-free bread can be really good. The Char brand, Schar, they make really good bread. I really like their ciabatta rolls. I used to get those, but I found out that rice, it was like slowly, so I had to stop. Jaina says, yes, love this view. It really helps me out. Thank you. Yes, everyone tell me like your life problems. I'm the oracle and I can give you advice on any problem. Resonating with you lately. The stuff I make. I think right now, I'm actually generating more media than I'm consuming, which is I feel like that is really impressive. I think like the quantity of YouTube, like I think I make more YouTube than I watch YouTube. So I'm just really, and I really like looking at my channel, being like, ah, I made that. Oh, there's our crap. I'm currently reading The Vampire Chronicles by Anne Rice, so that resonates with me too. There's a quote that really stuck out to me that I read recently. From it, was whatever you do, the important thing to you, stream. And I'm like, ah, that's me. That's me. I don't care what I do as long as I'm being really, really Sigma about it. Brett says, I have Blackwood Farm by Anne Rice, but only ever got to read part of it like 10 years ago. I haven't heard of that one. Honestly, I like Twilight, some of my favorite books, but I'm enjoying the Anne Rice ones. They can be a bit weird in some ways, but I don't know if you know what I mean, but they have some questionable parts. I think there was like a demon goblin thing stuck to some guy's back. That sounds unpleasant. Do you like the Hellraiser movies / Clive Barker? Haven't heard of them. I don't really watch a lot of movies. I don't watch any TV. I quit TV when I was 11, and I've only seen like a few TV episodes since. I guess a few episodes of Neon Genesis Evangelion, and that was out. Oh no, I watched The 9 Lives of Chloe King recently. 10 episodes. That's like all the TV I've seen in the past since I was 11. You've never heard of Hellraiser? I've seen like 5 movies and they're all like I just told you I create more content than I consume. I really do not. I am like media illiterate. I live under a rock. I I just I make stuff. I don't know. I don't really watch stuff. Ifo says, have you listened to the band Say Hi, formerly Say Hi to Your Mom? They're really good and have a lot of songs about impeccable blahs. Thank you for the recommendation. I will add that right now, so I don't forget. There, it's in the library. Janice, it is fun that you're into Star Wars, though. My name is from one of the books. The books. Weren't they like novelized after movies were made? I have 3 Star Wars books that are like Padme ones, but those were definitely written like after everything. W77 says, how do you think one can manage excessive vanity-driven dynamism, especially considering that it is one of our psychic combust? Can you rephrase that as if you're talking to an 8th grader? Jaina says, yeah, Star Wars has a bunch of books that would come out between movies. Cool. I like Padme. She's cool. Oops, I'm not a native speaker, so I talk like that. See, in fact, if someone was not a native speaker, they would be speaking at like a fifth grade, because that's how I am in my other languages. I can like do baby talk in like 5 languages, but I feel like you know English too well. Like I feel like you should stop learning English and like unlearn some of your English so that people like if you knew less English, people would understand you better. I sometimes I have that problem where I'm like I purposely don't learn like specialized vocabulary sometimes, or like at least don't use specialized vocabulary just because I want to be accessible to a broad enough audience. And I think it's reasonable that if someone's using specialized vocabulary, like I can ask them to, can you just like describe that in smaller words so that I will know what you mean? Because I can take a stab at guessing what you meant. Excessive, too much, vanity driven, so like ego dynamism, I guess, like being real gung ho about something. So the vibe I'm getting is like, how can one manage wanting to be Andrew Tate? And if that was the question, I would be like, if you can just suspend your disbelief, like reduce your suspension of disbelief a little bit. Okay. How can one how one can find alternative psychological combustible for ego-driven motivation? See, I don't think ego being a driver is a problem. I think whether the goal is worthwhile or not is the important part. Like if you used your ego to motivate you to the most money to charity, then that would be great. But if you used it to buy more supercars, then that would be less great. You know, it's really using your ego and the desires of your ego as a means to an end is not a bad thing. But using it as an end itself, like the whole purpose of things, can a lack of meaning in your life because if all you care about is yourself and your stuff, you're probably not going to be very happy. So, and it can be the opposite too, because if someone desires to be a good person, that could lead them to having blind spots because they're not willing to admit that they're not really a good person because that's too painful because it goes against their desire and goals, and then treating other people badly because they have this blind spot. So here you see like someone who's driven by ego to do things that actually make them a good person, like donating to charity, and someone driven by the desire to be a good person that leads them to actually like hurt people and not be aware that they're doing it. The end is a lot more you use to get there. Jana says ego is a road, not the destination. I think there's a lot of pseudo spirituality on completing killing our ego, but it's actually just about putting in the right context. Yeah, ego is like a wild horse that, you know, like you don't need to kill it. You just need to tame it and train it and domesticate it. Jana says, if I help someone else feel good, great. We both feel good. Yeah. Like, there's a quote, like, ego is the thing that separates your hand from your fork, or in my case, your sword. Like, ego is just the boundaries around where you are and kind of like the things that make you feel good about what you are and what you're not. And that's not in itself a bad thing. But I think it can be to see it from a step back and not think it's like the ultimate truth of the universe. But I think you can have the opposite problem of being so far back that you forget the purpose of even being a person in the first place. Like I do a lot of things to try to like get back into my ego because my philosophy and whatnot has gotten me so far out of my ego that I kind of need to intentionally create it and like spend quality time with myself, you know. 'Cause I really like this one. This one's cool. I like it. 10 out of 10. Would play again. I should probably end this stream soon. I feel like people are getting bored. Interact with me if you want me to stay on. I usually end this. I say usually as ever. Last time I ended the stream when I was done my drink, and I'm almost done my drink, which is. But thank you guys so much for being here with me and chatting. Probably next week, next weekend. I feel like weekends are good because most people don't have to plan and stuff. All right, on to my drink. Thank you guys for carrying the conversation and showing up. And I'll see you next week. And I'll see you on Tuesday because I'm dropping my video about practicing stuff. Gina says, I'm glad I cut this one. I'm so glad you showed up too. Thanks for see you. Bye, Ifo. Bye, everyone.